Kaya Samurai raises his sword before dawn, but what he ate hours before could determine whether he lives or dies on the battlefield. The diet of Japanese warriors wasn't about taste or pleasure. It was a science of survival applied for over 500 years, and what these men put in their mouths before facing death might completely shock you. Prepare to discover the dietary secrets that transformed ordinary men into unstoppable war machines. Let's get straight to the most surprising point that shatters everything you imagine about the samurai diet. During the Sengoku period, between 1467 and 1615, the bloodiest and most violent era in Japanese history, lower-ranking samurai ate mainly unpolished brown rice, and this rice was so hard and unpleasant that its texture was almost inedible. It wasn't like the select brown rice we buy today in gourmet supermarkets. It was a raw, unrefined grain that required intense chewing and left a rough mouth. But here's the detail that changes everything. This coarse brown rice contained massive amounts of B vitamins, fiber, and minerals that white rice simply didn't have. Samurai who ate this hard rice maintained stable energy levels during hours of intense combat, while populations that consumed polished white rice suffered from beriberi, a devastating disease caused by thiamine deficiency that became known as Edo disease. White rice was considered an absolute luxury, reserved only for shoguns and high-ranking commanders, and curiously, low-ranking samurai only had the opportunity to eat white rice in one place, the battlefield. That's right, while fighting for survival, surrounded by death and blood, they could finally savor what was considered elite food. This brutal contradiction reveals something profound about the samurai hierarchy, and how even in war there were privileges that separated common warriors from nobles. But the true secret of samurai strength lay in something tiny that fit in the palm of their hand. Umeboshi, small Japanese plums fermented in salt, were for centuries the warrior's secret weapon on the battlefield. These wrinkled and extremely acidic little fruits, which made the eyes sting just to look at, contained stratospheric levels of citric acid, potassium, and sodium. During the Muromachi period, around 1400, samurai discovered that consuming umeboshi before and after combat had almost miraculous effects. The citric acid instantly stimulated saliva production, combating nausea caused by extreme fatigue, and even more impressively, this acid directly supported the Krebs cycle, a complex series of chemical reactions in cells that releases stored energy. In practical terms, this meant that a samurai who ate umeboshi had increased energy levels, enhanced stamina, and sharper mental focus during battles that could last for hours, under armor weighing up to 27 kilograms. Umeboshi were also rich in natural electrolytes, acting as a portable source of vital hydration during extreme physical exertion. Warriors carried these plums tied to their waists along with rice, and there's a Japanese saying that a belly full of umeboshi protects against evil spirits all day long. But what truly protected them was the fruit's ability to revitalize sore muscles and accelerate recovery from battle fatigue by eliminating lactic acid accumulated in muscle tissue. Now let's talk about something even more fascinating that seems straight out of a science fiction movie, but was applied scientific reality 500 years ago. Samurai consumed mochi, glutinous rice cakes, as long-lasting fuel before long military campaigns. Mori Motonari, a legendary daimyo who won over 200 battles during his lifetime and conquered 8 domains in the Chugoku region, was known for actively supporting the use of mochi as combat rations. His soldiers went into battle with 3 bags tied to their waists, one of mochi, one of rice, and one of fried rice. Mochi was extraordinarily portable, kept for long periods without spoiling, and a small amount provided enough energy to keep the stomach satisfied for incredibly long periods. So much so that there is a Japanese proverb that states that a belly full of mochi lasts 3 whole days. The sugars contained in mochi acted directly on the brain, helping to sharpen the soldiers' fighting instincts, making their reactions faster and their decision-making more precise amidst the chaos of war. Mochi was described by military historians as the ideal ration for soldiers who needed to maintain physical and mental stamina for consecutive days, and its mass production was considered a strategic advantage as important as having good swords or fast horses. And you, which of these samurai battle foods would you dare to try knowing it could save your life in combat? Leave your opinion in the comments. But samurai food had even deeper layers of complexity. Miso, that fermented soybean paste, was consumed in a way that seems strange to us. Warriors chewed pure miso without dissolving it in water. During the Heian period it was rare and valuable, but in the Sengoku era it became accessible. Fermented miso contains extraordinary probiotics that support the digestive system, stimulate the immune system, and control cholesterol, all critical factors for warriors on prolonged military campaigns. Natto, fermented soybeans with a viscous texture, was essential. Accidentally discovered by the samurai Hachiman Taro Yoshie, it contained absurd levels of vitamin K2, essential for bone health and blood clotting. Natto has over 880 milligrams of vitamin K2 per 100 grams, 124 times more than unfermented soybeans, providing high-quality protein and powerful probiotics to maintain constantly damaged muscles. The samurai's dietary strategy also involved something that seems contradictory, but had brutal logic. They ate only 2 meals a day, a practice influenced by Buddhist teachings that promoted moderation and mindfulness. This caloric restriction was not due to scarcity, but a deliberate strategy. The samurai firmly believed that overeating would make them slow and heavy in battle, compromising their agility and reaction speed. A warrior with a very full stomach would have difficulty moving quickly, performing rolls, jumping obstacles, and executing the complex movements necessary in sword combat. Only when soldiers had to guard castles at night, in shifts called yotsume, were they allowed a third meal, ensuring they remained vigilant during the long, dark hours when surprise attacks were most likely. High-ranking samurai, lords, senior commanders, generals, and magistrates had access to a wider variety of foods, including fresh fish, small birds, vegetables, tofu, natto, and kamaboko. But even for these noble warriors, animal proteins like fish and poultry were considered rare delicacies that didn't appear on their plates every day. Buddhism and Shintoism, the predominant religions in Japan, strongly discouraged meat consumption, and an official decree in 675 prohibited the consumption of cattle, horses, dogs, monkeys, and chickens for 4 months of the year, a ban that gradually expanded to the entire year. Wild game meat like deer and boar was still occasionally consumed, usually for medicinal purposes, but farm animals like cows and chickens were considered too precious to be used as food. This religious and cultural restriction profoundly shaped the samurai diet, forcing them to seek protein primarily from marine sources and fermented vegetables. Preservation techniques were critical. Vegetables like radishes, cucumbers, and eggplants were preserved in brine or vinegar, creating tsukemono, which remain essential in Japanese cuisine. Fermentation produced miso and soy sauce, condiments that added depth to dishes. Salt preserved fish and meat, especially for coastal samurai. These methods arose from necessity, but permanently shaped Japanese cuisine. During prolonged campaigns, samurai carried hunger pills. These 20-30 gram pills, rich in sugar, provided immediate energy. 5 to 7 pills a day restored tired bodies, and they could be crushed to feed horses. Made from ginseng, grated yam, quake seeds, and various flours, ground and soaked in aged sake, they relieved fatigue, calmed nerves, and promoted blood circulation. The supply of rations was as critical as military strategy. Units called konidatai transported resources, and securing transport routes was vital. Rationing demonstrated the power of the daimyo, and castles stockpiled rations for emergencies and prolonged sieges. There is a fascinating case that demonstrates how food was a psychological weapon. During the siege of Matsuyama Castle, Commander Hojo, lacking water, ordered rice to be poured over horses to simulate washing. The besiegers Takeda and Imagawa were perplexed to discover the trick. Many attacking soldiers had never seen rice in such large quantities, revealing how precious and rare it was in feudal Japan. The infantry soldiers, the ashigaru, were peasants who rarely ate rice. Their food consisted of barley, corn, and millet, with almost no side dishes. They ate miso soup in the morning and only tofu for lunch. Class differences were brutal at the table, with nobles eating varied meals while common soldiers survived on the bare minimum. But on the battlefield, even low-ranking samurai ate white rice, transforming the battlefield into a place where they paradoxically enjoyed banquets impossible in their daily lives while fighting for survival. This contradiction reveals the cruel nature of the samurai hierarchy, where social privileges determined who ate what, even in the midst of death. If you enjoyed discovering the dietary secrets that kept the samurai strong for battle, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more fascinating facts about the real lives of Japanese warriors.